Hey everyone, welcome to Nomads No Worries. We got a great show for you today. We are going to be talking about the beautiful city of Montreal. I just spent a bunch of time there, so we'll be chatting about that.
I'm excited, Steve. Sounds like you had a blast.
Yeah, I'm pumped to talk about it. And then I got some more airline tips, specifically when traveling to Japan. Hi everyone, I'm Steve.
And I'm Jack, and I'm happy to be here with you, Steve. I feel like it's been a while since we recorded, but it really hasn't. But for some reason, it just feels that way.
It does. Depending on what we do over the weekend, like if we have a big weekend, it's like, I feel like I've lived a whole life since I last spoke to you. Like I moved to a different place. So for me, yeah, it feels like, oh, last time I talked to you, I was in a different city. So it feels like a long time ago.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like maybe it is the new background that's getting me. And honestly, the background looks like some like Windows, like fake virtual background. I don't know why, but it's just like nothing's moving in your background right now.
Yeah, because it's all inanimate objects. That's probably why. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
I
But
don't know.
it looks fake. I don't know. I don't know if I believe you.
It's real AF, dude. Like, I don't even know. Like, here, I'll just like throw the pillow.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Did that
Yeah.
help? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Sick. All right. Well, should we get into our location highlight and talk about
Yeah.
Montreal?
Yeah, Steve. So, I mean, I guess kind of like what's like kind of the sense of the city? What's the vibe like? It's a French city, is that right? Or is that wrong?
That is correct. It is in the province of Quebec, which is a French speaking province, right? It's an awesome mix, I think, of like European and North American culture. You got the European architecture, you got some French language being spoken, but then you got the North American stuff, like you got dishwashers, you got spacious sidewalks, like all the great things about America, but then mixed with a little European flair. So it's a nice vibe.
That's pretty cool. So, Steve, did you Duolingo French when you were there?
I did not. Alita did. She's been doing French. She's been trying to up her streak, but I've been sticking to my Spanish streak, Jack. I'm over 1,000 days now, so I can't break that. So I've still been doing that, but you don't
That's
really
true.
need you don't really need to know French in Montreal specifically.
So,
But
does the French sound like the Paris or the, France French, or does it sound like way different? Is it impossible to tell if we don't speak French?
it's probably impossible for us to tell, but from
Yeah,
what I've
okay.
heard, from what people tell me, like French is in France is way more classy and like they'll use a lot more formal speak. And I feel like the Quebec version is like the redneck version a little bit. Like it doesn't sound as nice. It's like a lot more slang and kind of like the difference between like Caribbean Spanish versus like Colombian Spanish, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, but they can understand each other and all that.
Maybe. I don't know. They say that sometimes they can't really, like if they go to, like if a French person from France were to come to Quebec, like they may not understand them completely. So
See, doesn't that feel like kind of like a big miss? I mean, not to like hate on it, but it's like, come on, like there's not like a ton of French speakers around the world, like, and even you guys can't understand each other. Like, you got to band together here.
I
You can't just
know.
be divided as like a smaller language.
I know. I've thought about that. Like it would suck for like someone from Quebec to visit Paris and like they still can't communicate. Like
Yeah,
that'd be half the fun is being able to speak French. But I think they can, they'll get there, but it's like it's almost difficult to understand each other. So
that's kind of wild. Yeah, okay. So it feels like a French city, I guess. Is it what was the weather like? Was it too cold or exactly what months were you there, maybe?
man, it was beautiful. It was perfect weather. It was like July, August time frame. I guess I was there in September, considering I was there last week and it's currently September.
Yeah.
But so it was like perfect weather the whole time. It was beautiful. Didn't need a jacket or anything. It was sunny. Like it was getting up into the 80s. It was getting hot for Canada. So it was perfect. And yeah, we'll be out of Canada by the time the cold weather rolls around, but in the summer it's awesome.
Okay, okay, okay. So, what does it mean when Montreal's a festival city, Steve? Does that mean there's like festivals like Coachella going on, or like food festivals, or
Every kind of festival that you can imagine, honestly. So it is known as like Canada's festival city. They have music festivals. They have something similar to Coachella, but it's like smaller Canadian version. But it brings in a lot of big artists, just like Coachella does. And they got an international jazz festival every summer. So there's just always something going on. I went to like an EDM festival while I was there and saw. I think we talked about John Summit and people like that. So yeah, there's lots of music, but then there's other weird festivals going on as well. I saw lots of like anime conventions. I saw some kind of like a furry convention. You know about
what do you mean?
furries, Jack?
No, what's that?
It's like people who like sexually, they dress up as animals.
And what do they do exactly? Like what kind of animals?
Any kind of, it's whatever you identify as. Maybe you're into puppy play, maybe something else. But
Oh,
that was kind of funny just seeing them walking around the city dressed up in their like furry outfits. And they're like doing normal people thing. They're just like riding on the subway, like riding on the train, but they have like a dog mask on and shit like that. So that was a fun one.
wow, that's pretty wild. Okay, yeah. I mean, so how close did you get? Do you have to like buy a ticket to get into the furry festival, or you just gotta like bring your own costume, or?
I'm not sure about that one, but I will say so. The neighborhood that I lived in was called Quarter Days Deus Spectacles,
Okay,
which translates basically to the entertainment quarter, entertainment district. And like a block from my apartment, there are these streets that are blocked off like all
okay.
year round, and they got lights, and it's just like this blocked off area, and like every night there's a different festival or something going on. It's just like a designated area for like free, and those are free festivals. So we went to one that was like a street dancing festival. They had like a stage and people doing competitions of street dancing, or they'll just have like other live music performers, but it's just like this free festival area. And so yeah, it's really quite the vibe. Like there's just a lot of energy in the city, and like I just feel like my area that I lived in was like the capital of that. So it was awesome.
So, I mean, with all these festivals, does this mean they just have like a lot of days off in general? Like, just kind of always partying? Like, is that how it is? Or,
It feels that way, dude. It's one of the most alive cities I've ever been to. I mean, it really just one of my favorite cities I've ever been on my nomad journeys. I feel like if you're depressed or whatever, having a bad day, having a bad week, you just walk outside and like there's something going on. Maybe you have no friends, or maybe you feel like you have nothing to do. Just like walk around and you'll find just like I said, like a street dancing festival or just like a free concert, and you'll be entertained.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Maybe they're just kind of like cramming it all in the summer or something.
It might be, yeah. I'm wondering like if it dies down when the weather gets colder, but I'll never know. I'm just gonna always remember it with the nice weather and all the events.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised the furry thing wasn't in the winter. I feel like it would be great if you're in like a animal suit in the winter, you're kind of more insulated.
That's true. Instead of having a fur coat, you are the fur. You have the fur, like the fur is your skin, which would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, you could really go pretty hard and like, actually get real animal fur.
Yeah,
Yeah, like be
yeah.
like a real beaver furry.
Oh, yeah. Beavers, that's very Canadian.
Oh, it is. Okay. Is that like their national animal or something or
I think it is.
no
There's a
way?
lot. There's a lot of like beaver, just like statues, and like you'll just see beavers around a lot. Not real beavers, but you will see it on a flag, or you'll see it on
Oh.
some like on a mural. You just see beavers all over Canada.
Do you ever see it on a plate or is that not chill?
No, well, okay, they do have these things called beaver tails, but
Oh.
it's more like a funnel cake. and it's shaped
Okay.
like a beaver tail because it's like big and flat,
Okay.
but it's
Okay.
essentially a funnel cake. So you can eat that. I don't know about eating real beaver meat, but
Maybe it's like bald eagle, like we don't eat the bald eagle in America, you know?
that's true. Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. It's a protected animal. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but like in terms of, so I feel like the wildest you said some pretty wild and unexpected ones. You went to an EDM concert. Do they have any like, I don't know, like folk? I feel like it'd be like I have no idea what I'm talking about. Like, like what do they kind of got like folk music or light rock? Like I could see Canadians being into light rock.
Yeah, I mean, Nickelback is from Canada. So,
Okay.
they're what I would call butt rock or
Butt rock.
divorced dad rock. Some people call
Oh.
that. So yeah, you definitely got that vibe. But no, yeah, I'd say they're into everything. There's some hip hop fans up in here. It's really a full spectrum. Like I said, they have the International Jazz Festival, so apparently they're into jazz.
That sounds cool.
But yeah, it's a big, diverse city. I mean, it is the second largest city in Canada. The metro area has over 4 million people. So lots of different influences, lots of different jams going on.
So what's the most populous city in Canada?
That would be Toronto. That would be the city of Toronto in the neighboring province,
The six.
Ontario. So Montreal has a population of about 1.8 million in the city proper. And then Toronto has over 3 million in the city proper. But then, of course, yeah, greater Montreal, the metro is like over 4 million.
Awesome.
So, yeah, comparable sizes to US cities like Philadelphia, Phoenix, or some European cities like Vienna and Budapest. So, if you've ever been to one of those, Montreal would be a similar size.
Gotcha. Okay, that sounds like a good size. So how close were you to like the city center type of
I was pretty much in it. Like I
in it? Okay.
yeah, I was all up in there, dude.
Okay, cool. I mean, I feel like this is pretty good, but maybe we can kind of circle back to the food now. I mean, pretty curious, kind of like what are some typical Montreal dishes maybe or like what are they known for?
Yeah, so my favorite thing about Montreal in their food culture is they got big portions. All right. I mean, you know how I get upset when I'm at a restaurant and I'm still hungry after I eat my
That's
meal.
the worst.
That will not happen in Montreal. You get big portions. They're known for poutine, but they call it poutine.
What
They
what
got
is that, Steve? Can you kind of explain what that is?
poutine is French fries
Okay.
and gravy on top
Okay.
and cheese curds. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I've had poutine all over Canada in different cities, but in Montreal, I promise you it is the best poutine in Canada. It's what they're known for. I guess the cheese curds are better there for whatever reason. They have like real cheese, and I don't know, man. I was addicted to it. Like in other cities, when I would eat poutine, it would like make me sick. But in Montreal, I was like, yeah, keep the poutine coming.
So do you use a fork or what's the situation?
Yeah, you use a fork. It's not like you use your hands. So again, that's the Euro vibe, right? Europeans eat French fries with forks and shit like that.
Right.
Um, yeah, it'd be a fork dish, but you can have it as a side. You could have it as a main. I had a pretty awesome interpretation of it. I had like a buffalo chicken poutine. I mean,
Oh, that sounds good.
I love everything buffalo, and buffalo chicken. So yeah, that was a really good spin on it.
That sounds delicious, honestly. Okay, I gotta try it. It feels really hearty. Like I would just eat like if I'm like cold or something, just eating a ton of poutine would probably just warm you up.
Yeah, I like to think that's where a lot of their dishes stem from, is from being cold.
That's cool. So what's the deal with the Montreal bagels? Are they different than American bagels?
Yeah, and I think they might be better. I don't know. I'm sure people in New York would argue that, but Montreal style bagels, they're all hand rolled and they look different because like the hole is way bigger. Okay, so it's almost like skinnier around the outside, but there's a
Okay.
really big hole. Okay.
Okay.
And they're all hand rolled, so it's really high quality. But I love the Montreal style bagels. There's a couple legendary spots. Like one of them was opened by a Holocaust survivor, like, and it's been around many years. One of them is like over 100 years old. So yeah, Montreal style bagels have been around for a long time.
Wow. Okay. So what's the deal? Why do you get less bagels then, would you say? I mean, I'm kind of worried about that.
I don't know. Maybe they're just like bigger, just the
Like wider?
circumference. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Is it harder to
So
put the spread on? You don't get the cover on top then, right? Like you kind of got to be.
yeah, I do it myself. They don't come pre-cut because they are hand rolled, like they don't use machines or anything. So you got to cut them yourself, which is not ideal.
Oh,
But
okay. I could see myself messing that up.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. But they're good, I will say.
So what do they put on top of their bagel? Like what's a like
Same
do you go
stuff.
to like a bagels? Okay.
They have all the same flavors, whatever. I'm an everything bagel guy myself. What's your go-to bagel, would you say, Jack?
Well, when I was in New York, I had one that was like cream cheese and tomato with
Oh,
onions. It was kind of good. Yeah, the tomato
nice.
was fresh.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So they got all that in Canada too. They got the fruity flavors, they got the spreads. They're just made a little bit differently. So,
That sounds awesome. Is there any other foods, any controversial foods that Americans maybe don't eat that they do?
oh yeah, baby. One of my favorites is
Oh,
is foie gras. Okay?
okay.
Have you heard of foie gras?
Yeah, will you explain it?
Absolutely. Happy to do that. So foie gras literally means fatty liver.
Okay.
Okay? It is the liver from a duck, sometimes a goose. But yeah, that is a controversial food. It is banned in some US states.
Wow, really?
It's controversial because it's created from force feeding ducks. So you force feed these ducks so their livers become exceptionally fatty and rich. And so I think because of
So
that
they
whole
only
problem,
eat like one type of food that like changes their body, basically?
yeah, I think it's
That's kind of
like
interesting.
it's some animal cruelty type vibes. Like if you go to California, you can't get foie gras at all. Like it's completely banned.
But why is that? Like, do they not like the food they're eating? Because, like, what difference does it make if they like it, you know? Like, help you, help me. Like, if
What
it's a delicious, you know what I
the
mean?
ducks? The ducks?
Yeah. Like,
Well,
why is it cruel?
I think it's
Okay.
about the quantity because you're force feeding them so much and like making them fat. It's like not natural. It's not a natural amount of food to feed them. So I think
So
that's the
it's like the
problem.
jumbo wings at the peanut. You're like, these chickens,
Yeah.
something happened.
Yeah, those are not normal chickens. And yeah, foie gras is not normal duck.
But in a
But
way, you could think about all livestock as probably being fed a certain way to be a certain way, right? So where do you draw the line? You know?
totally. Yeah, I feel like it's all or nothing. Like you're either vegan or you're not. But foie gras is really good. It's like you kind of have it as a spread. You can like spread it onto a cracker or some bread. I had some the other night that was delicious. I had it on my poutine. Like I went to this restaurant that's very
Whoa.
famous. Like Anthony
Okay.
Bourdain went there, and they had it on the poutine. They had
Okay.
foie gras sushi. So like instead of having a fish over the rice, it was literally the duck liver and it
Oh
was
wow.
delicious.
That sounds cool.
So good. But yeah, foie gras comes from France. They've been
Okay.
having it in France for like 1,000 years. So it has a lot of history. And obviously they brought it over to Montreal. But yeah, it's a great dish.
Wow, that sounds exciting. It feels like Montreal has a lot of great food to offer.
Absolutely. Do you want to hear about the maple syrup now?
Yeah, I'm so honestly I've been kind of feels like the highlight for me.
Yeah, let's do it. So
Okay.
the province of Quebec is quite literally the maple syrup capital, not just of Canada, but of the world by
What?
by far, dude. So
Okay.
approximately 70 to 75% of the world's maple syrup comes from Quebec alone.
Wow. So they really got a lock on it, huh?
And then Canada as a whole produces like 80 to 85% of the world's supply. But obviously, most of that comes from Quebec. So it's more than food in Quebec. Like it is a cultural symbol, almost like wine in France, right? But it's like, it's maple syrup, dude. Like in restaurants there, they love experimenting with it. They'll give you maple poutine, maple cocktails, maple glazed bagels. I thought it was like one of those stereotypes that's more of a joke, like everyone talks
Yeah.
about maple syrup in Canada. So I thought I would go and it's like not actually true, but no, it's very real. I mean, you go to a coffee shop and they're like, yeah, you want maple syrup in that instead of milk.
So do they also consume the most maple syrup? Like, is it just like them producing all of it and eating all of it at the same time?
They're exporting it. I mean, yeah, because I mean, if they supply the world with 75% of maple syrup, I'm sure most of it comes from there. But yeah, you can tell they're consuming it just the way that it's probably cheap, right? Like they don't need to buy it from anywhere else. So that's why like every restaurant has it on the menu in
For
some form
what?
or fashion.
What would you like? Okay, I'm getting a burger and fries. Like, do I get maple syrup to dip the fries, or like, what's the vibe? Or maple syrup on the patty?
I'm sure some restaurants would have that, honestly.
Okay,
But yeah, they'll usually try to put it into their dishes in like a fun way, and they'll tell you
okay,
on the menu. It's kind of how they do it. Yeah, and then dude, I heard this story. So Quebec has something wild. It's called the Global Strategic Maple Syrup Reserve,
okay,
which is literally barrels of syrup just stored in warehouses. Okay. And
okay.
I guess it's used to stabilize supply and prices in bad harvest years. So, like, if there's a bad year for maple syrup, whatever that looks like, they have this reserve. They're like, don't worry, guys, we still got barrels full of maple syrup. And at one point, thieves, this is kind of a famous story, they stole millions of dollars worth of syrup from the reserve. This was back in like 2011. And so it's kind of known as the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, wait. So, why is like Canada so well equipped to produce maple syrup, like compared to other countries?
I think they just have the maple trees. I think
Okay,
that's
but
where it
they don't
comes
grow
from.
anywhere else.
Apparently not, dude. Like I thought they must have, but apparently not. I mean,
Okay,
it's literally on their flag, dude. Like that is a maple leaf on the flag of Canada. Like you don't put that on your flag. If you're gonna have one thing on your flag, like it better be unique to your country, right?
you're right. Wow. I wonder, do you think they just like have hoarded all the seeds, or like they just got like the perfect climate? Like even something like, Norway and like, northern countries, they can't make it happen?
Yeah, I guess not, dude. Like I don't
That's
know.
wild.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like I heard somewhere the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it's not leaves like the hockey team. Why is the conjugation like that? I always wondered that.
Wait, okay, because I think they are a team of single leaves. It's like fish versus fishes.
Okay,
I've
it's
never
not a
thought about
branch of
that.
leaves, you
Yeah, dude, I've
know?
never thought about that. I think they're just all representing the leaf, like the leaf itself, like the symbol of the leaf, you
Right,
know?
okay. It's like more than it's not just a tree. We're not talking about the tree, we're talking about the leaf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Dude, I never noticed that it's leaves, not
Yeah.
leaves.
It
Okay,
always
that is
bothered me.
interesting. Well, it's kind of like the Montreal hockey team is the Canadiens, not the Canadians. Like normally, like
Wow.
we would spell Canadian with an A at the end.
Right.
They spell it Canadiens because that's the French spelling.
See, here they go again. If you want, you got to connect with the rest of the world here. We got to get the French more in line. But Steve, can you
Yeah.
talk about, why French is such a? How did Canadians learn French? Like what happened? Like where does that come from? Is that like did France used to like own Canada or something, or what's the situation?
Man, I've been pumped to talk about this. And,
Okay.
I've really come around on this. I think in one of our earlier episodes, when I first got into Montreal, I was kind of talking shit. I was like, why do these guys speak French? Like, why do they think that's so important? It's not that impressive, but I've learned a lot more about it. Happy to talk about it, kind of share my knowledge. Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So it all started back in 1534. There was a French explorer named Jacques Cartier, and he claimed parts of what is now Canada for France. Okay. So,
Yeah.
over the next 150 years, French settlers established towns and farms and all this stuff along the St. Lawrence River that flows throughout Quebec. And
Hmm.
so, like, everyone who lived in this region was French, was from France. They spoke French. They spread the French culture to the area.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and then in 1763, France ceded they ceded what was called New France at the time to
Okay.
Britain. They lost the 7 Years' War, and so then all of a sudden Britain was governing this French speaking area. 99% of the people spoke French. So rather than trying to force all these French people to assimilate, instead, they passed the Quebec Act of 1774, which allowed French civil law, the Catholic religion, and the French language to remain in use. And this was, I think, to help keep the population loyal and like avoid unrest. They're like, okay, you guys
Okay.
can have your French vibes, just be chill.
Right. Okay. Yeah, just to want to have like a mutiny here. Just
Yes,
kidding.
yeah. We know all about mutinies now, thanks to Captain Copy Paste
Right.
on
Yep.
our other episode. But so obviously over time, more and more English settlers arrived, but the French speakers remained the majority in Quebec, and that was important to them, even as the rest of Canada became this bilingual kind of country. Today, Quebec actively promotes and protects the French language through different laws. So, obviously they've made it an official language of Canada. It's the official language of Quebec. But yeah, for people in Quebec, like French isn't just a way of communicating. It's like the foundation of their history, their literature, their traditions. And obviously, they're surrounded by a largely English speaking continent. So they kind of see themselves as like the stewards of French in North America. So at this point, like if they lost the French language, like they really feel like they would lose their identity and everything.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's really important to them. I understand that. So some of the laws they've passed, they require children to attend French language schools. All of the signs are in French in the workplace and the government. So like your company, when they operate, like it needs to operate in French, even in the
Oh,
advertising and things like that, it all needs to be French. So the goal is to make French the common public language. So if there's immigrants or newcomers who move to Quebec, they would learn French instead of defaulting to English. So
cool. It's great that they want to just they were born French and they want to keep it going.
yeah, it became an official language of Canada way back in the day. Before Canada became a country, so this was way back in 1867. So at the time, Quebec represented almost a third of Canada's population. And obviously Quebec was overwhelmingly French speaking. So they were like, hey, let's make this country. So they band together with the other provinces and they were like, hey, we're going to make this country called Canada. And Quebec was like, okay, well, if you want us to be part of this country, like you need to make French one of the official languages. And so they did, because I mean, this is like, half of their economy at the time. So that's kind of how it worked.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, I love that they kind of stick to their culture. I know Canada gets a lot of immigrants, so it's interesting. I wonder if the immigrants, it sounds like they have to kind of learn French is kind of interesting.
They do. Yeah. I mean, even like Gerlita's uncle, he works for the government and he had to pass a French language fluency test, like to work there. But I will say Montreal itself is a little bit different. So I'll give you the stats. So, like, they say about 85% of Montreal's population are fluent in French, but it is one of the most bilingual cities in Canada. So 58% of the residents speak both French and English.
So wait, Steve, how do they come up with the name Canada?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, you can finish what you're doing. Maybe we can talk about that after.
Yeah. But I will say Montreal, like in the city center, like maybe out in the suburbs, there's more French, but in the city center is like everyone spoke English. I
Yeah,
didn't need to know French at all. So when they say it's bilingual, it really is. I mean, everyone I interacted with would speak English to me. So
makes
so
sense in
that
a
was
big city.
cool. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's quite the thing. I mean, Quebec even had like this whole separatism movement a couple times, right? Like they've actually voted to become like a separate country from Canada. They voted a couple times.
Wow.
One time was in 1980, and the no side, the side to stay in Canada, won by about 60%. And then, dude, in 1995, so this was not that long ago, they voted again to leave Canada, and the no side only won by 50.6%, a margin of about 54,000 votes. So
Oh,
they
you
were
mean
like,
like they got fifty point
yeah,
six percent of the vote?
yeah, they were zero point 0.6 away or zero point 0.4 away from becoming their own country.
That's a scary thing. I don't know if all the voters grasp all the consequences of voting that way. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a complicated decision.
Yeah, and I think now they do. Like now they say that recent polls show only about 30% of people support separation, because they realize that like there's economic concerns, right?
Yeah.
Like independence would create a lot of barriers and currency issues. Also, young people are just more globalized, right? They're less tied to this us versus them kind of mindset. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of the Canada's bilingual policies have eased a lot of those tensions as well. So,
That's pretty cool. I
yeah.
mean, I always like a little bit of a rebellion. It kind of reminds me of like Catalonia and Spain, they always want to
Oh, do
secede.
they? Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
Texas, Texas
Right.
vibes.
SEC
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same kind
Yeah.
of vibe there.
Same shit. Yeah.
So now I know you said you had poutine, but did you ever have just straight up French fries? And how were they?
Yes, and they're good. These
Okay.
guys know their fries. It must be the French thing, right? French fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Because
know
it's
what's
almost like
up.
the perfect combo. They have the French for the fries, but they also have like the hearty American for the potato.
True. Yeah, do you see there it is
Yeah.
again. The
The
mix of
combo.
the mix of North American and European cultures, dude. It's beautiful.
Now, do they eat pizza there? Like, do they that kind of thing?
Yeah, they have normal stuff. They have normal pizza,
Okay.
pizza burgers. I went to like an Italian joint. Yeah, they got it all. Honestly, overall the food in Montreal is delicious. Definitely an underrated food city and an underrated city overall. Like I feel like more people in the US need to go there. Like you can get European vibes without flying all the way to Europe, right? It's awesome.
What was like the weirdest food that you put maple syrup on?
I did just put it on like the rest of my breakfast, like my whole breakfast one day.
Douse the whole thing.
Yeah, obviously it's really good on bacon, put it on some eggs, sausage, just everything was maple covered. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's probably a good way to get a lot of calories. Just chug some maple syrup.
There's no shortage of calories up here, dude, that's for sure.
So, what's the situation? It's middle of September. When does it start to kind of? When do you need a jacket?
They say it's like kind of now-ish. It's
Okay.
normally like, yeah, mid-September, but it's stayed nice. I think thanks to global warming. So yeah, maybe when October rolls around, it'll start to be more sweater weather.
That is interesting. Do you think that Canadians are like pro global warming? Because like then it kind of I feel like makes their situation better, right? Like they're kind of the benefactors.
Yeah, but they do have the polar bears in this country, I think, up north. And I think
Yeah.
global warming might be killing them, so that kind of sucks. But
Okay, my bad. My bad. I didn't want to sacrifice the polar bears. My bad. I was just trying to look on the bright side of things.
but no, I'm with you, dude. I mean, I like having warmer weather. Yeah, polar bears, warm weather. It's a trade off.
So, are there ski resorts like within driving distance? Is like skiing a popular pastime for Montrealians?
Yeah, they're all about the winter sports here. I know they had the Olympics at some point in Montreal in the greater area,
Oh, cool.
but they'll get into the weird snow sports too, like snowshoeing. the shit that like isn't actually fun, but they're just like, yeah, we'll call this a sport. Curling, obviously. So yeah, they're all about the winter
What
sports.
about the bobsled? I feel like there was a Canadian team in the Cool Runnings movie, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that sounds right. I think Canada, yeah, they have to be good at bobsledding for
yeah, I think
sure.
they were literally like one of the like the really good teams like in the movie, like where the Jamaicans were struggling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
damn, I haven't seen that movie in years.
It's
We'll add
honestly
that
a
one.
great movie.
It is a good one. I remember I loved it. I just haven't seen it in like 20 years, so I gotta add that to my list.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's got to be on Netflix. Like that would just be one they just have in the like
Yeah,
permanently, you know.
yeah, it's a
It's an American
classic.
classic. If we got any Zoomer listeners, get out there, watch Cool Runnings.
Yeah, Cool
It's
Runnings is
good.
great.
Yeah. So, Steve, I mean, did you feel pretty safe in Montreal as well? Like, I mean, you said people are really nice, so maybe it's also safe.
Yeah, it feels super safe. I never had any sketchy vibes or anything like that. Maybe a couple unhoused people here and there, but that's any city in North America these days. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, people don't have guns, which is cool. It felt super safe walking around at night, whatever. I was in the city center walking around different neighborhoods. Very safe.
No, that sounds awesome. Okay. So I feel like I imagine they must have some pretty cool like beers. Like, it's kind of cold up there. They get some big beers. Or are they more about the wine, Like what's kind of the drink situation?
Yeah, I think they have both. There's a lot of good beers up here for sure. Like they're into the craft beer thing, kind of like we
Mm.
are in some trendy places in the US. But they have a big wine culture as well. There are some wineries in this province, but obviously the French connection, so they're big on that too.
Nice. And what's the public transportation like in Montreal? Do they have a subway or anything like that?
Yeah,
Or
it's really good. They have a metro. It worked really well. We also took just like the bigger train to a couple different cities. We took a weekend trip to Ottawa. We took it up here to Quebec City, so they got that going. Ubers are everywhere. Super easy to get an Uber in Montreal. So yeah, they got everything you need.
that's badass. Wow. Okay. That's cool. It seems like it would be like I'm looking at the map, like a train up the river or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's exactly how it works. So that's what we just
Wow.
ripped to get up here to Quebec City. So
Damn, I love that. Okay, cool. Now, do you guys got any plans to kind of go deep into? I mean, I noticed really these are on the southern edge, right? I mean, we got thousands of miles of wilderness to the north, Steve. What are we gonna do about that?
yeah, I'm gonna hit it up. So Girlita's having
Okay.
a girls' weekend here in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So a bunch of her friends are visiting, and I just don't want to be here for that. Like, I don't want to spoil their girl time. So I'm gonna take a solo nomad weekend trip up the river, dude. And there's some
Oh,
national there's some national parks up there. There's some fjords. Check out some fjords. Maybe do some whale watching. Yeah, Quebec's got a lot to offer.
wow. Okay, that sounds super exciting. Okay, a little into the wild type thing here. Don't eat the wrong berry,
Yeah, I won't touch any berries, but yeah,
Yeah,
really good.
just stick to the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are we talking like is it going to be like a train? Are you going to drive or what's the situation? Are you going to get to Newfoundland? Is that possible?
I don't know about Newfoundland. That might be a little too far of a land for me.
Let me plug the directions in for you. Let's kind of plan this
Okay.
out here.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, it looks like it could not calculate directions, okay? Let me just type in something else here. Cartwright seems to be a city. Wow, okay, Steve, we got 21 hours.
Ooh, that might
That's
be
a
a
long
bit
yeah.
much.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Wow, this is a big country.
It is, dude. I think it has the longest coastline in the world. I might have just
No
made that up.
way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
sick. Let's roll with that for sure.
Yeah, let's roll with it. But yeah, there's still some cool stuff within driving distance. They have a car sharing thing here. It's kind of like the scooters, like the e-scooter thing where you have like an app, but it's with real cars. You just like find a car on the street and unlock it with an app.
Cool.
I used it when I was in Vancouver, and they said you can drive anywhere in Canada or the United States in these cars as long as you bring it back to the original city where you got it.
Really?
Yeah, so like I could drive down to Florida with one of these things, $30 a day, and as long as I just come back. So
That's cool. I'm actually going to try out the Uber one. They just launched it.
oh, they did?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm going to definitely try that out as well actually this weekend. So,
Nice. It's super convenient.
yeah, wow. I love the on the map in Canada they have these little maple leaves. I don't know exactly what the icon means on the map, but it's pretty cool. Maybe it means like national highway or something. But
Oh yeah, it's on the roads. Yeah, I've seen that.
yeah.
Yeah, it might be a national highway.
Steve, well, thank you so much for talking about Montreal. That was really cool. I feel like I learned a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a lot to offer. You got Mount Royal Park right by my house. It's a park you hike to the top. You got a view of the city. You got the old port. That's where the old town is with the super French architecture.
Cool.
You got the underground city as well for the wintertime. They call it the underground city, where there's just like basically a mall, but there's like restaurants and shops and all these things underground. So it's year round. But yeah, one of my favorite places I've ever been. Like I could see myself living there, like summering there at least when it's warm. But it's a super livable city. I love it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, my landlords here, they're snowbirds and they live in Montreal.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, dude. Maybe
Yeah.
Montreal in the summer and, maybe Florida or whatever, maybe Scottsdale, maybe Mexico in the winter.
Whew.
That's my eventual goal.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely love the warm during the winter. Now,
Uh,
Steve, here we go. Bonus question here. Ready?
Okay.
Who smokes more cigs? People from Montreal or people from Paris?
We're going to go with Paris on that one.
Okay. So they didn't really carry that habit over across the pond.
Yeah, not really, but I will say that Montreal smokes way more weed. Like I smell weed in Montreal maybe more than I smelled it in Denver. I would just like go on a jog around the city in Montreal, like I would smell Kush like 7 times.
Well, again, slightly different, they rhyme, but they're not quite the same cultures, right?
What rhymes?
It's like they're French, but they're slightly different. Like they rhyme, but they got their own lanes.
Oh, you meant not literally rhyme, like
Yeah.
words. You meant
Yeah,
like
not
yeah.
literally. Just,
Okay.
yeah, I was trying to be clever there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Great.
All right. Next, we'll do a quick little nomad news / nomad hack.
Okay.
So this one, it's been around for a little bit now, but I feel like I should talk about it because I had a personal experience somewhat with it. So
Okay.
what's going on is Japan Airlines is offering free domestic flights for international travelers.
Okay.
But it's once you get to Japan. So basically you have to buy your big flight yourself, right? So if you're flying from the US, you got to buy your international ticket to Japan
Okay.
on their airline, on Japan Airlines. But then once you do that, they will give you a free ticket to another city in Japan. So this is their way of encouraging tourists to explore beyond just like Tokyo and Kyoto, like the same places that everyone visits.
Yeah.
It's available for travelers from certain countries: US, Canada, Mexico, Australia, Thailand, Philippines. Wow, okay, China even. That's cool. But yeah, once you have your international flight booked, and you got to book it on the same reservation. But yeah, it's kind of a cool deal. So, it could save you a couple $100 if you wanted to do that.
I love that.
I kind of fucked up though because I just booked my flight to Japan and I didn't think about this offer. And so I didn't book it through Japan Airlines. I did it through like American or something like that. But I looked back at it and it would have cost me like $200 more anyway to book my international flight through Japan Airways or airlines or whatever. So it wouldn't have actually saved me money. Even though I would get the free next flight, it evens out. It's a wash for me. So even though I'm paying $200 to fly to another place after I get there, yeah, it would have been the same if I got this deal. But it is a cool deal for people who want to use it.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Okinawa is what I was thinking. It's an island, so you could
Is
fly
that where you're
there.
going?
Yes, we are going to go there. Girlita's friend lives there. She's like in the military, so they have like a military base there. So
That sounds really fun. Okay, so it's another island.
yeah, Okinawa is in the south, and then obviously I'm gonna hit my hometown of Kobe, where I was born. You
Wow,
know,
let's go.
maybe see the hospital where I was born, see if they remember me, and be like, "Yo, do you guys remember me?"
You were the only white baby we've ever
Yeah,
had.
yeah. That would be hilarious if they actually did. They're that like that was true. They're like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, Steven is back. He's here."
The
The
white boy returned.
yeah, our white angel. Yeah. So fun deal there. One thing you do, there is one stopover fee for this deal. So if you come from one of these countries and you stay in your first arrival city for more than 24 hours before going on your domestic leg, there's a stopover fee of about $100. So that's kind of lame.
Man, devil's in the details on this one, Steve.
It is because like I'm planning on staying in Tokyo for a few days before we move on. So like then I would have to pay that extra 100 anyway. So yeah, by the time you get to the details of this deal, I feel like it's not really worth it, but it does sound cool.
Yeah, it's more like a nomad advertisement. Not really a hack, but I'm into it, you know?
Anything that talks about a free flight, like that's not a thing we normally get. Like we usually have
Yeah.
to pay for flights, so it's always interesting to look into.
Steve, speaking of Japan, I know we're talking about eating and stuff, right? And I was like trying to be really proper. I'm eating at this Japanese restaurant, and so I'm using my chopsticks really well, and I thought everything's going good. And then all of a sudden, like they set down this roll that's like a little bit longer than like a normal sushi roll, right? And then I
Wow.
go to like pick it up with my chopsticks and put it on my mouth and I get stopped. And everyone's like, no, Jack, it's a hand roll. And it's
That's
like the one item that you're supposed to use your hands. And like the whole time I'm like trying to be proper, and like do it right. And I get fooled by like the one I'm supposed to use my hands. It's just so frustrating.
That's almost as good as another time you were at a Japanese restaurant and you were eating the edamame, like the whole edamame, like the skin, because you're only supposed
Yeah.
to eat the beans inside the edamame, but you were eating like the skin and everything of the edamame. That
Yeah.
was another good one.
Yeah. I mean, I was just powering through there. I'm trying to get every nutrient out of that edamame. I saw a tweet, Steve. It was my favorite part of getting omakase is the pizza afterwards, and I like really feel that a lot when I eat shit like edamame and like sushi and stuff. It's like I'm still like not full. Like I need to go get a hamburger.
I know. I mean, that's my pet peeve, dude. So you got to come up to Montreal and get the big portions. Just stuff
Yeah.
yourself with poutine. You'll be happy.
I wonder if there's like a maple syrup eating contest.
Ooh, I did just see Joey Chestnut won a poutine eating
No
contest.
way. How much did he
Yeah,
eat?
a shit ton.
I bet, honestly, bro.
He had 53 boxes of poutine and he beat all these Canadian people. So like this American Joey Chestnut kind of beat Canada at their own game. 53
Well,
boxes.
we are bred for those kind of sports. That's just
That's
how it
true.
goes.
Yeah. You guys can have bobsledding. We'll have competitive eating.
Yeah, and a bunch of other things, but we don't have to get into that.
Yeah, we don't need to get into Hey, that's probably good for today. Anything else you got, Jack?
No, I'm good. The only thing I got now is a little bit of hunger, Steve, after talking about so much food.
Yeah, dude. Time for Taco Bell round 2 for you today.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe a little Crunchwrap Supreme with some maple syrup on top.
Yeah, dude. Just run it back. Get the maple syrup on. Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, there you go. You'll get the Canadian vibe. So.
Whew. All right. Well, that was awesome.
Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Take a weird trip. Thank you, Steve.